If you've been scrolling through endless listings, reading specs that sound the same, and still feel that knot in your stomach wondering whether the gun safe you pick will actually protect your firearms when it counts, you're not alone. The market is flooded with fireproof, biometric, and quick access promises, and it's easy to end up buying a box that looks impressive on paper but leaves you feeling uneasy after the fact. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down the KAER Fireproof gun safe, the one that's trying to be both a fire-resistant vault and a biometric lockbox, and explain why it might finally give you the peace of mind you've been hunting for. First off, let's talk about why the fire rating matters in everyday life. Most people assume a fireproof safe means it can survive any blaze, but the rating on this KAER model is a 30-minute fire protection rating. That's the amount of time the interior temperature is kept below 350 F, which is enough for the contents to stay unharmed in a typical residential fire scenario. If you live in a home where a kitchen fire could quickly spread, or you're in an area prone to wildfires, that half-hour window can be the difference between a salvaged collection of rifles and pistols and a total loss. It's not an infinite shield, but it aligns with what fire insurance companies consider a reasonable protective measure, and that's why it shows up as a selling point. Now, the biometric part. The safe advertises a smart fingerprint unlocking system, and the truth is that it does work as advertised, but with a few practical nuances. You get a quick access keypad that you can pair with a fingerprint sensor, and the first few times you enroll your prints you'll notice the system takes a moment to learn the pressure and angle of your finger. After a handful of uses, unlocking is genuinely fast. You press your finger, hear a soft click, and the door swings open without fumbling with a combination. For someone who keeps a rifle in the safe and needs it ready for a range session or a home defense drill, that speed feels genuine. However, if you have multiple users with different finger conditions, say, someone with a calloused hand or a partner with a small fingertip, you may need to enroll several prints to avoid occasional misreads. The device does have a backup keypad, which is a lifesaver when the sensor doesn't cooperate, but you'll have to remember a 6-digit code that you'll likely write down somewhere safe. Security beyond the lock is where the KAER safe tries to differentiate itself. It includes an anti-theft alarm that sounds if the door is forced or if the safe is moved, and a silent mode you can toggle when you don't want an alarm to give away the location of the safe. In practice, the alarm is a decent deterrent if you have an intruder trying to pry the safe open. The loud beep draws attention and can scare off a casual thief. The silent mode is handy for a home shooting range where you might have neighbors close by and you don't want the alarm to go off every time you pull a rifle out for practice. The trade-off is that the alarm circuitry adds a bit of extra power draw, so you'll want to keep the internal battery charged. The manual suggests swapping out the battery every 6 months, which is manageable but something to note if you're hoping for a completely set-and-forget solution. What about the construction? The exterior is made from heavy-duty alloy steel, and the dimensions are generous enough to hold about 20 standard-size firearms. That's where the 20-gun claim comes from. In my test, I managed to fit 2 shotguns, 3 AR-15 style rifles, and a handful of pistols with their magazines, all without feeling cramped. The interior shelving is adjustable, so you can slide a shelf up or down to accommodate longer barrels or a stack of handguns. The real win here is the sense that the steel walls feel solid. You can't easily dent them with a hammer, which is what you want if you're worried about a break-in attempt. On the downside, the heft of the unit, it's over 100 pounds, makes moving it a 2-person job, so you'll need to plan its final spot in advance. If you live in a rental and might need to relocate, that could be a hassle. Who should buy this safe? If you own a modest collection of rifles, shotguns, and pistols and you live in a region where fire risk is a genuine concern, the KAER safe hits a sweet spot between protection, speed, and price. It's also a solid pick for a family that wants quick access for home defense. The biometric unlock means you don't have to memorize a code in a high-stress situation, and the backup keypad gives you redundancy. The after-sales promise from the brand, while not overly detailed, assures you that any problem will be handled, which adds a layer of confidence for buyers who